Why Family Guy has suddenly became hated. Ooh, this sounds very interesting. Me on the outside perspective, not knowing and not watching a lot of Family Guy in my lifetime, the only thing I've seen is just like that crazy out-of-pocket jokes they be making. And to be honest, they're funny. I feel like the reason it's becoming hated is because the way society is moving. Everyone's so soft, no one can take a joke anymore. Even though some jokes are too far. Sometimes they're still funny, let's be honest. We're gonna see why Family Guy has become hated. We live on Twitch. Pull up.
Calling for Family Guy to be cancelled. And not because of some big controversy, they're just sick of it. Hard to believe considering this was once the show fans fought to bring back after it got axed. So what changed? How did ratings plummet from 9.22 to 0.96? And why is
0.96? No way in hell. No way in hell. They fell off that bad? Dang, bro, who really watching Family Guy nowadays? I was thinking about doing a video where, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I was thinking about doing a video where I just watch like some of the most offensive, funny episodes of Family Guy. Let me know if you guys want that on the main channel.
Is a show that was just renewed suddenly one of the most hated on TV? Well, let's see. The Family Guy we were lucky to have and why we fell in love. When Family Guy premiered in 1999, it was an instant success. Its earliest seasons were fresh, fearless, and flat out hilarious, even with strong animated shows like South Park and The Simpsons already on air. Family Guy quickly rose through the ranks. It was an animated sitcom that didn't just toe the line of comedy, it boldly reached for context and nuances that other sitcoms were shy of. From its pilot episode, it was clear Family Guy had its own voice.
Wait, what are they doing? I don't know, they're just standing there like zombies. Do you think they're all right? I'm not sure.
Why are there two Stewies? What's going on?
And then there was that time at the ice cream store.
What?
They're doing it again, what the hell?
What's happening?
I'm at a loss.
And for a while, that voice was sharp, daring, and deeply loved. Because of the audacity the show came with, never minding the controversy and feathers it ruffled,
time
it was
travel?
canceled.
Fire. Okay,
Everybody, I got bad news. We've been canceled.
Oh no, Peter, how could they do that?
Well, unfortunately, Lois, there's just no more room on the schedule.
For most shows, that would have been the end, but not Family Guy. It had gotten such a strong hold on audiences that fans clamored for its return, and Fox couldn't ignore it anymore. But what did Family Guy offer that made fans so unwilling to let it go? Well, for starters, one of the show's greatest strengths during its golden run, roughly seasons 1 through 6, was its ability to deliver rapid-fire jokes without losing.
What did I just see? No. What did I just see? Wait. Oh no.
Its narrative grip. The humor was packed, dense even, with layered gags, sly cultural references, and weird side jokes that still felt somehow grounded in their little world of Quahog. Every episode was an event with dialogue that showcased wit, scenes that balanced outlandish chaos with character-driven comedy.
I can't make a dead guy pay his bill. All I gotta do is write deceased right here where it says name. And where it says sex, I'll write no thanks, I'm dead. It's bulletproof.
Right.
This meant Peter Griffin could be the goofy idiot we all knew and loved, getting involved in some outrageous shenanigans, but still learning a lesson by the end of the episode. Sometimes he missed the point completely, but there was always a sense of growth, or at least the illusion of it. So his stupidity ramped up the humor, but you knew you were still in for a good story. Then came the cutaway gags. Absolute show stealers. They were new, unhinged, and immediately sold the audience, being able to throw in a seemingly unrelated reference skit and still...
My nigga, what? Yo, we do need some. I mean, we have a lot of adult-rated cartoon shows and movies. We just need some more. The ones that come to mind is like BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty, of course. I don't even want to bring up Big Mouth. Big Mouth should have ended fucking 6 years ago. I don't know why it took them so long to end Big Mouth. Like, that show should have been canceled a long time ago. Boondocks. Oh, Boondocks is a good one. Yo, we got a lot of shit I gotta watch. We got so much stuff to watch. Big Mouth is a good show. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, you're weird, buddy. You're weird. I know what you watch on your free time.
Still deliver a wild comedic take without losing the story's rhythm was bold, and it worked. They added context, backstory, or a surreal burst of humor that deepened the joke, elevating the entertainment value rather than distracting from it. You never quite knew where the next one would lead, and that unpredictability was part of the charm.
When I got that job entertaining prison inmates.
Do it again, Griffin.
Oh, come on, I just did it like 5 times.
Do it!
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard in here like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge.
But more than its jokes, what truly set early Family Guy apart was his characters. Peter Griffin, with all his foolishness, had heart. Lois was intelligent and compassionate. Chris and Meg had their own identities. And then, of course, there were Stewie and Brian, the show's
Stewie
secret
and
weapons.
Brian.
Stewie,
Yeah,
the genius
yeah.
baby with a dictator's mind and a sharp British accent, was a character unlike any seen before in animation.
Yeah, meathead. What's with this guy, pup?
He was brilliant, devious, hilariously savage, and his villainous mind was endearing.
No, I'm not a nest. Okay, this is so messed up right now.
Yo, bro, this is the best character in the whole show. I don't care. Them two, Stewie and... Oh my god.
I did not want to have to do that. They were very nice to me up until then.
Brian, the martini-drinking, novel-writing dog, served as a philosophical center of the show. Their dynamic was electric, and episodes involving them revealed strong storytelling and genuine emotional connection. Episodes like Road to Rhode Island, PTV, and Death is a Bitch weren't just funny, they were memorable. They had structure, build-up, and punchlines that stuck in your head for years. They combined humor and creativity, and often snuck in moments of surprising emotional weight without ever losing their sense of fun.
What the
hell?
hell? What's happened to us?
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know,
saying.
but suddenly I feel all sweet and warm and fuzzy. It seems we're in a universe where everything is drawn by Disney.
Look, there's our house.
What the hell?
Look how gaily we run.
And the side characters weren't left out either. Each one had something unique to offer. Peter's friend group, Joe, Cleveland, and Quagmire, brought their own personalities that added extra flavor to the show. The golden era of Family Guy wasn't just a peak in popularity, it was a masterclass in animated comedy done right. Social media, blogs, forums, everywhere was talking about Family Guy. It gave the internet memes for days and had enough pop culture references to keep everyone hooked. Seth MacFarlane was on a generational run with how consistently brilliant the show felt. But how would a show that had all of this suddenly fall from glory and get reactions like this?
Is it just me, or does Family Guy kind of
Serious?
suck now?
Why do people hate Family Guy so much?
Family Guy is horrid.
Family Guy is absolute trash.
How did the Family Guy become
What
so...
happened? What happened, bro? How can you have a generational run like this and still flop? Yo, is The Simpsons still going on? And is The Simpsons even like rated R, or is it more like a PG-13? Like, I never really got into Simpsons, but like, are they edgy? I don't think they're edgy like this, but I could be wrong.
Oh, hate it.
The newer seasons just flat out insults the seasons 1 through 3 classics.
Why the love died. At some point, Family Guy stopped being the show we fell head over heels for and slowly morphed into the weird, loud guy at the party who doesn't realize the joke's over. While pinpointing the exact moment can be tricky, fans generally agree that somewhere after season 8 or 9, things began to shift and fans slowly started gritting their teeth and became fed up with Family Guy. The first big crack in the wall everyone seemed to agree on? Jokes replaced storytelling. Let's be clear. Family Guy was always joke-heavy. That was the charm. But it used to tell a story, first and foremost. There was a setup, a payoff, even a lesson.
Ew.
Kind of. Now, it's like the writers throw every gag they can think of into a blender and hit puree. The result is 20 minutes of chaos with zero narrative glue. And the biggest culprit? The cutaway gags. It got so clueless, just like the time Stewie had no clue what his gag was.
I haven't been this since I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Once the MVPs of the show,
Wow.
they suddenly
Wow.
became annoying because of how frequent and unnecessary their appearances were. They used to enhance
See, I feel like that's how every show really be going. Like, I get the same vibe from SpongeBob. The first seasons of SpongeBob peak. All the memes from the first season of SpongeBob started from the first couples. Everything else, if you ever seen a SpongeBob episode now, I'm telling you, it's just a cluster F of everything. I'm telling you, they had ChatGPT before ChatGPT became out to the public, because they've been using it to just generate BS scripts. This, even with Big Mouth, I'll be honest, the first couple seasons of Big Mouth, cool, like, you get it, but then it's just like, okay, what are we doing now? What are we doing? It's like the same thing. It's too repetitive. I want to say for Rick and Morty still knows how to push the bounds and still give a good edge, good flair to it. I haven't watched South Park, so I don't know if it's the same or not. I don't know. Niggas just be doing anything. I'm saying. It's sad, bro.
enhance the story. Now they hype.
But at the same time, it's like, how much can you really do? How many seasons of this show is there in the first place? Because I know, like, The Simpsons on that BS, like, that movie got like 35 seasons. Like, my Family Guy. See, that's what I'm talking about. 23 seasons. Any show that goes over season 6, you dragging it, my nigga. You just dragging it. You trying to milk that money on. What else can you do? Simpsons got, like, let me see how many Simpsons got. Simpsons probably got like 100 or something crazy. Nah, I was close. Again, 36 seasons, 36. Man, bro. It's sad. It's like the creators don't know when to give something up. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's a beloved franchise. I understand that. But you don't think it's time to move on? Let's produce something else. Let's make a whole new universe. Let's do something different. Bro. But
They hijack it. We'll go from Lois asking Peter about the remote to Peter suddenly remembering the time when he dressed as a taco, being chased by wolves in 18th century France. And rather than a humor effect, the question you'll have would be, okay, how did we get there and back here? And while still trying to get over that, another one was launched right again in the next scene. Worse, the cutaways started replacing the satirical edge. Old Family Guy took swings at politics, media, and censorship. It made statements while being ridiculous. Modern Family Guy seems to aim for one thing only. How weird can we get before someone changes the channel? At first, many didn't mind the absurdity. What they missed was the cleverness and how the gags were properly set up.
Well, it sounds to me like you're a regular Benedict Arnold Drummond.
What's he expecting us to cut to? I think he wants maybe, I don't know, Gary Coleman and a Napoleon hat?
But we don't have that.
What?
We gotta come up with something.
I like the fourth wall breaks.
We got the Cowardly Lion as Lindsay Lohan's gynecologist.
Play it.
But he didn't set it up.
Play it!
And that's when love began to die. But the hate started sprouting when the show started assassinating the characters that fans had come to love. That's when fans didn't just tune out, they got angry. The thing with long-running shows is that the characters are supposed to grow, evolve, or at least remain consistent in the traits we first fell in love with. But Family Guy said, nah. Instead of growth, we got degradation. There was no consistency to the characters' growth or arc, so they became irritating caricatures, stuck in loops of unfunny, mean-spirited, and totally unoriginal behavior. This wasn't a bad phase, it was a full-blown identity crisis. And if you're thinking, yeah, every show goes downhill eventually, trust me, you haven't seen downhill until you've seen what Family Guy did exactly. Buckle up, because it gets worse.
You're honest and direct and compassionate. And that is 72 hours. Enjoy your crap hole, dumbass.
Starting with Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin went from goofy dad to sociopathic train wreck. Once upon a time, Peter Griffin was the lovable idiot. Sure, he was dumb and made bad decisions, but fans could relate to him. He seemed to have a conscience.
Lois, I know how many beers I can drink and still be able to drive. I figured it out.
What the hell?
7.
Oh my.
6.
But then modern Peter is no longer just clueless, he's cruel. He's abusive, selfish, and increasingly psychotic. We went from harmless buffoon who accidentally floods the house to maniac who tries to kill Lois for attention. The writers stopped making him a character and turned him into a walking punchline with a full-on violence and gore.
I'm pulling out my cheeses. Don't mind me if I'm crunching.
Lois, who used to be the cool, the voice of reason, the loving, no-nonsense mom with a sharp wit, simply became Peter 2.0. Unhinged, erratic, and often just as bad or...
What the hell did I just see? Oh nah, buddy. Oh nah. That was a lot. What did my eyeballs just witness?
or worse than her husband. Lois has lost all grounding. She's gone from raising the bar to rolling in the muck with the rest of them, whether it's sleeping with Meg's boyfriends or encouraging Peter's madness. But she wasn't the only voice of reason to have gone silent. Brian also suffered with...
Or her body low-key like, you know? Or her body low-key like, you know? You know what I mean? What she got going?
But she wasn't the only voice of reason to have gone silent. Brian also suffered with such a character decay that everyone was fuming. How do you ruin a character that was set up to be an intellectual by turning him into a hypocritical snob? Brian used to be the calm in the storm, the smart talking dog who fluctuated between being a writer and getting drunk on martinis. He was a grounded contrast to Peter's chaos, Stewie's world domination plans, and the general madness of Quahog. But the charm didn't last. Somewhere along the line, Brian became unbearable. His personality took a nosedive into smug territory.
It's irresponsible for the town to get 2 credit cards and just swap the balance back and forth each month.
But the town would get Miles.
The once thoughtful intellectual turned into a preachy, self-righteous hypocrite who acts superior while being worse than the people he criticizes. Brian became so self-absorbed that even his child, Dylan, suffered for it. The Brian that was respected was long gone, and what's left is just cringe.
It's such a weird situation. I just think somebody should be writing about it.
Yeah.
Do you think it should be me? Should I be the one writing about this?
I don't know.
I think it should be me.
Just do it. Stop talking about it, for God's sake.
But if Brian got fans riled up, what happened to Stewie, who despite being a baby was the show's star and favorite? The sabotage to his character had audiences turning off the screen in frustration and disappointment.
You know, we should probably go ahead and shut that off.
Stewie Griffin used to be revolutionary, an evil baby with a laser gun, a British accent, and a mission to kill his mother and basically any human that got in his way. He wasn't just a comic relief, he was the reason many fans turned in. He was smart, theatrical, and dangerous in the best way possible. His sarcastic remarks and witty comebacks delivered great laughs.
I can't believe this is happening to me. I can never go back to school again.
Oh, yes, Meg, yes. Everything was going swimmingly for you until this. Yes, this is the thing that will ruin your reputation. Not your years of grotesque appearance or awkward social graces.
This was a baby that wanted world domination, but also desperately craved love and identity. Stewie was layered, unpredictable, and brilliant, but now he's just confused. The evil baby shtick dropped. World domination gone. His identity is a chaotic blur with almost nothing really concrete to his character that fans can hold on to and trace the original Stewie. Instead of committing to growth or evolution, we went from Stewie kills Lois and Road to Rhode Island to entire episodes of Stewie getting jealous of a preschooler. That was not Stewie anymore. One of the show's...
Damn, they really messed up this whole entire script, bro. Damn. What happened to him taking over the world? That would actually be more entertaining to watch than this, than some petty preschool beef.
Show's greatest weapons blunted. The rest of the Griffin family members didn't get any better. Chris and Meg were never the stars, but early seasons gave them actual identities. Chris had moments of artistic insight, Meg had bursts of awkward teenage relatability. Now, they're just props. And as for Meg, well, Meg Griffin became the running gag that got old. Here's how fans see it. Yes, Meg has always been the family's punching bag, but what started as a dark joke eventually turned into outright character assassination. Her abuse is no longer comedic exaggeration, it's just lazy writing. Every scene she's in feels like a setup for the next. Shut up, Meg punchline. No depth, no growth, just rinse and repeat humiliation. It's as if the show decided, we don't know what to do with her, so let's keep torturing her. Of course, the show gets hate because of this.
The Meg abuse is awful. I've seen many people do their take using...
Alright, see? Nope. Media 2010 55. You hated this so much that first you went on Reddit, red flag. Second, you wrote a whole 2-page essay about this. You could have been doing anything else with your time. You want to write. You're not even getting paid for this, my nigga. At least make a documentary YouTube essay and do something beneficial. You went to Reddit talking to nobodies. This is bad, bro.
Because of this.
The Meg abuse is awful. I've seen many people do their take.
How you think I feel, bro? That's how I feel when people be getting mad at me in the comments, right? And then decide to write a 2-paragraph essay about blah 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 blah. Nigga, I don't care. Blocked. You just wasted your time. Thank you for viewing my video. God damn, bro.
A take using the Marlin meme from Finding Dory, with him talking about something bad and asking the question of something for a change.
And if this was the situation with the main characters, what could be expected of the side characters? Exactly. Bland, forgotten, and barely there. Quagmire turned from sleazy comic relief into a straight-up predator. Joe still shouting about being in a wheelchair.
Comic relief? I thought Quagmire was always a predator. I thought that was the whole bit. Giggity. Like, I thought that was the whole bit. What do you mean?
And barely there.
Am I tweaking? Did I miss something? What the giggity?
Quagmire turned from sleazy comic relief into a straight-up predator. Joe still shouting about being in a wheelchair, and that's literally all he does. Cleveland left Family Guy for a spin-off, The Cleveland Show, which flopped hard, and when he returned, it felt like he left his character behind. No development or extra layer of depth to his story. The show once gave us a neighborhood of quirky personalities. Now it's just a noise machine with flat voices. All the more reason why it's been put on mute by fans. But the biggest casualty of all? The humor itself. There was a time when Family Guy flirted with a line of offensiveness and made it look effortless. It wasn't just being edgy for the sake of shock, it was subversive, clever. A joke might tackle religion, politics, or gender norms, but it came with a wink, a twist, and usually a deeper point. That was the old magic, saying the unsayable in a funny way that made you laugh and think. But then the edge got dull, and the punches started landing downward. Somewhere along the road, Family Guy forgot how to toe the line. It started stomping over its satire, gave way to cruelty. Instead of challenging power of ridiculing absurdity, the humor delved into cheap shots at easy, undeserving targets. It's not edgy, it's just mean. Take disabilities, for example. When Joe was first introduced, the show actually handled his paraplegia with a surprising amount of nuance. He was portrayed as tough, capable, and still the butt of jokes, but in a way that didn't erase his dignity. Now, he's just reduced to being the guy in the wheelchair, with nearly every joke stripping him down to...
But no. Okay, wait.
Just that. And then there's Meg. Early on, her awkwardness was familiar and sympathetic. A shy, insecure teen desperately trying to fit in. But over time, the writers decided she was just the show's punching bag. Physical abuse, psychological torment, and even thinly veiled jokes about sexual assault have become the norm. It stopped being funny seasons ago, but no one in the writer's room seems to have gotten the memo. A prime example is the episode Seahorse Seashell Party. In a rare moment of self-awareness, Meg finally stands up to her family, calling out years of abuse and emotional neglect. It could have been a turning point, a chance for the show to address its toxic dynamic under the guise of satire, but instead it swerved into absurdity, with Meg ultimately apologizing for disrupting the family and accepting the abuse as necessary to hold them together.
Is this coming from my role model mother? The shoplifter, the drug addict, the porn star, the whore who let Gene Simmons and Bill Clinton go to town on her?
Whoa.
Oh, so what? All those things are behind me now.
Fans weren't just disappointed, they were furious. And Family Guy didn't stop there. The show seems fixated on exploiting sensitive issues, abuse, race, sexual assault, but not to shine a light on injustice or hypocrisy, but simply to provoke outrage, not for insight.
Bro, I didn't know there was this graphic on Family Guy. You plan on watching Center soon, or you already seen it? I watched it. It's on Patreon if you want to watch it already. But the YouTube video will be out. I'm not gonna give a time date. It will be out though. What's good? What's good?
Site just for headlines. In the notoriously controversial episode Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q, the show tackled domestic violence with such a bleak, humorless tone that it felt more disturbing than satirical. Critics and viewers alike were left confused. Was it trying to make a point, or was it just pointless? Whatever the intent, it had fans remarking it was the most depressing half hour they had ever spent. But that didn't stop the show. It kept doubling down, trading wit for shock value, and losing more of its soul with each punchline. The saddest part? Family Guy once knew how to provoke without being pathetic. Now it clings to controversy like it's a punchline on its own. But it isn't. It never was. Humor without intelligence is just noise, and when that noise becomes cruel, when the jokes punch down instead of up, and when the shock factor is used as a crutch instead of a craft, that's not just bad writing, that's toxic comedy. And the worst part is, it lacks the self-awareness to stop or take a fresh take. The show is still stuck in the same boring loop, and this brings us to the next point that fans have kept complaining about.
The show's really predictable because they follow the rule of 3. If they make a joke, you can bet your ass they'll use the same joke 2 more times before the episode ends, and that's with almost every new Family Guy episode.
There was a time when Family Guy thrived on unpredictability, but now you can practically set your watch to the recycled plot lines. Peter does something reckless, Lois gets mad, Stewie and Brian go on a surreal adventure, and Meg gets ignored, or worse, rinse, repeat. The show has settled into such a tired rhythm that even the chaos feels predictable. Jokes are often lifted straight from earlier episodes or drawn from the same tired punchline pool. Shock value, cutaways, offensive jabs, and end credits. It's less comedy and more content farming, and while the show tries to cover for this with meta humor, jokes about how bad the show has become, it ends up sounding like a cry for help.
Shouldn't be letting your kids watch certain shows in the first place if you have such a big problem with them, instead of blaming the shows themselves. Yeah.
Self-awareness isn't clever if you don't do anything with it. It's like watching someone acknowledge they're sinking and then just keep paddling downward. Characters don't change, relationships don't evolve, and every episode resets like nothing ever happened. It's sitcom purgatory. Family Guy seems content to wander in circles forever. And fans watching it go about this way can simply tell that it all comes down to the fact that the soul is missing. Emotional arcs are abandoned as quickly as they begin, and characters rarely face consequences or show growth. Every episode is a clean slate, and not in a clever episodic way, just in a lazy one. Others also point out that since they phased out the gay jokes, the show lost its sharp edge. What was once boundary pushing now feels sanitized and overly cautious.
Peter Griffin from
Damn, they can't make any more gay jokes? Damn, bro. Damn, bro. Damn, bro.
Family Guy. Many children have learned their favorite Jewish, black, and gay jokes by watching your show over the years.
In fairness, we've been trying to phase out the gay stuff.
The writers seem afraid to offend, which I...
It's so crazy that's the only thing. Like, everything else we can keep. Gay jokes, nah, you're doing a little too much now. That's pushing the line.
Ironically, dulls the show's signature irreverence. Without that provocative humor, Family Guy risks blending into the sea of safer, forgettable sitcoms. To be fair, not everyone agrees. Some fans still find enjoyment in the newer seasons. The show does, on occasion, deliver a clever gag or a moment that hints at its former brilliance. Episodes like Road to the Multiverse or select Brian and Stewie pairings remind us that the talent is still there, buried somewhere under the rubble. But here's the thing. One good joke in a sea of filler doesn't fix the problem. Nostalgia alone can't sustain a show forever. Those occasional sparks aren't signs of revival, they're the embers of what used to be a roaring fire. But fans have lost patience, and the only thing roaring is the call for Family Guy to finally end. No one seems to care anymore.
Damn, no one wants to watch Filler Guy no more. Damn.
All we're left with is the echo of a show that once had bite, heart, and something to say. Fans aren't angry that it changed, they're disappointed it didn't grow. The punchlines might still land, but without purpose or heart, they don't nearly hit as hard. At the end, the loudest thing about Family Guy today is the silence from the fans who've already tuned out. But if you really want to see how deep the rot has gone, just look at what they did to Brian. Check out this next video to see how he became such...
Ooh, okay. Yo, like I said, I do want to watch some Family Guy on the channel, on the main channel, TheKidLaw. So make sure you comment down below some of your favorite episodes. Give me season and episode. Yeah, give me the season and give me the episode. I'm gonna make a whole list. I'm gonna make a whole compilation, and we're gonna watch some of those. All right, we live on Twitch. My name is Law. Check me out on the main channel, TheKidLaw, and I'll see y'all in the next video because you already know so it's a Viggity Bop on this channel.